The story begins with Boniface helping Ivy sneak out of the house late at night. After making sure her father, Chief Udemba, isn't around, she gives Boniface a quick goodbye and tells him how much she appreciates him. Back inside, Chief Udemba catches Ivy returning and scolds her for going out. Boniface pretends to clean the couch nearby. Udemba reminds Ivy that since she lives under his roof and spends his money, she must follow his rules. He warns her that the streets are dangerous, revealing that he lost his first son out there. Ivy's mother Audrey tries to stand up for her, telling Udemba to resolve his conflict with his enemies so their family can finally be free. Udemba ignores her and grounds Ivy for a month. Later, Ivy talks to her mother about wanting her own life. She tells her she has no plans to leave Nigeria because her friends are here and she wants to start her life on her own terms. Audrey agrees but feels helpless, saying Udemba has always been controlling since they became rich. Ivy tells her she doesn't care about her parents' past love story. She just wants freedom. Audrey then asks Boniface to watch over Ivy. In her room, Ivy receives a call from her boyfriend Toby. He's upset she didn't show up to meet him, even after waiting for an hour. Ivy explains that she's grounded and can't leave the house. Toby gets angry, saying he feels like he's dating a child. Boniface tries to comfort Ivy with food, but she tells him to leave. Meanwhile, Audrey tells Udemba again to let their daughter enjoy her youth. She pleads with him to fix his broken relationships with their enemies so they can stop living in fear. Ivy confides in her best friend Nora about Toby wanting to meet. She says they've been through a lot and he should be a little more patient. Boniface overhears this and reveals that he already contacted Toby to come to the house since Ivy can't go out. Ivy is surprised but grateful. That night, Boniface sneaks Toby into the house. Ivy is overjoyed to see him and hugs him tightly. Boniface quietly closes the door to give them privacy. As he leaves, Audrey calls to check on Ivy. Boniface lies, saying she's fine and just relaxing. Inside the room, Toby suggests they run away together. Ivy refuses, saying her father would find them anywhere. Suddenly, there's a knock on the door. It's Chief Udemba. Toby hides in the bathroom. Udemba senses something strange, smells a new scent in the room, and asks Ivy if she changed her perfume. She says yes. Udemba tells her he's only being strict because he cares and doesn't trust social media or the outside world. As they talk, Toby's phone rings from the bathroom. Ivy quickly pretends it's her phone and enters to silence it. She then sees messages and photos from another girl on Toby's phone. She confronts him, and he admits that he's been with someone else because he felt neglected. Ivy reminds him how much she supported him, even paying his school fees. Heartbroken, she tells him to leave and ends their relationship. While Toby tries to sneak out, Chief Udemba catches him. He demands to know who he is. When Toby stays silent, he calls the police. Toby then points at Boniface and Ivy, revealing he's Ivy's boyfriend. Furious, Udemba fires Boniface and tells him to pack his things and leave the next day. He also takes Ivy's phone and grounds her indefinitely. During the commotion, Toby manages to escape. The next day, Boniface checks on Ivy, but she wants nothing to do with him. Audrey enters and, surprisingly, praises Ivy for standing up to her father, something she never had the courage to do herself. Later, as Boniface prepares to leave, Udemba surprisingly asks him to make something for him, as if he forgot firing him. Confused but obedient, Boniface continues working. He brings food to Ivy, but she refuses to eat. Later on the balcony, Boniface surprises Ivy with a gift, a new phone to replace the one her father took. Ivy questions how he could afford it, and Boniface admits he used all his savings. He also secretly retrieved her SIM card. Ivy thanks him. When they go back to her room, she finds it cleaned and neatly arranged. Boniface had done everything, including her laundry. Ivy, bored, goes to the kitchen to talk to Boniface. He asks if she can cook, and she says no. Her father never allowed them to do chores. Boniface offers to teach her. After cooking, the two relax by playing video games. Ivy's friend Nora visits. Ivy tells her about the breakup with Toby. Boniface brings them juice, fresh homemade juice for Ivy, and packaged for Nora. Nora notices and asks why. Boniface says Ivy is special. Ivy even shows Nora the new phone he bought her. When they go to Ivy's room, Nora is shocked at how clean it is. Ivy admits Boniface did everything. Nora suspects he's in love with Ivy. Ivy denies it, saying Boniface isn't her type or class. Unknown to her, Boniface overhears everything from the bathroom. Hurt and embarrassed, Boniface walks out. Ivy tries to apologize, but he refuses to listen. Later, she sincerely tells him she's sorry for making him feel worthless and promises to treat him better. Boniface finally opens up. He says he never planned to be a houseboy forever. He dreams of owning a big restaurant one day, but doesn't have the money. He only stayed because of her. Later that night, Ivy called Boniface and told him to go get some wine. But Boniface refused. His father would never allow alcohol in their home. Ivy pushed him, saying, "If you really love me, you'll get it." After some hesitation, Boniface gave in. He returned with the wine. Ivy invited him to drink with her. At first he said no, but under her pressure, he finally agreed. They drank, got intoxicated, and started dancing. Lost in the moment, vulnerable and confused, they ended up sleeping together. The next morning, Audrey was looking for Boniface but couldn't find him. Audrey knocked on Ivy's door, asking if she'd seen him. Ivy lied and said no. Audrey left, unaware of what had just happened. Inside, Ivy and Boniface exchanged a guilty look, wondering how they ended up in this situation. Boniface left the room visibly shaken. Later, Boniface had flashbacks of the night. Instead of guilt, he felt excitement. He laughed to himself, thrilled they had been together. One day, Ivy held a pregnancy test. It was positive. Her friend Nora walked in and demanded to know who the father was. Ivy quietly said, "Boniface." Nora warned her, if her father found out, it would be disastrous. Soon after, Ivy's mother came in and noticed Ivy crying. She asked what was wrong, but Ivy denied everything. Then her mother told her that her father wanted her to meet someone and gave her back an old phone. Ivy's father introduced her to Toby, saying he was from a respectable family, a good match. But Ivy told her father they had broken up because Toby cheated and she wasn't going back. Back in Ivy's room, Ivy and Nora talked about the pregnancy. Nora suggested abortion, but Ivy refused firmly. Suddenly, Ivy's mother caught them hiding something. She demanded to know what it was and saw the pregnancy test. At that moment, Boniface and Udemba walked in. Ivy confessed she was pregnant with Boniface's child and said it was her way to repay him for how he treated her. Udemba exploded in anger. "Fornication under my roof with the wrong person." But then, surprisingly, he calmed down, forgave them, and said he'd accept Boniface as his son-in-law. He even offered him juice as a peace gesture. Everyone was shocked. Audrey followed Udemba outside, but it was a trap. Udemba searched his room for his gun. Audrey rushed back to warn Ivy and Boniface. They needed to flee. They ran for their lives. Safe house, tense and vulnerable. Boniface hid Ivy at his house, where he lived with his sister Anita. Ivy refused to eat and apologized for the mess she'd caused, getting him drunk, pregnant, dragging him into trouble. But Boniface promised to stand by her. She was carrying his child and he wouldn't let her suffer. Ivy told him she didn't love him. Pregnancy didn't change that. Boniface accepted it. Ivy's belly grew. Her mother called, pretending to care. Audrey offered help with a bigger house, but Ivy suspected a trap and overheard Audrey and Udemba plotting to find her and arrest Boniface. At the hospital, doctors diagnosed Ivy with gestational diabetes. The baby was large and would need a cesarean section. Ivy was devastated. She never expected life to be this hard, especially with a billionaire father. She was frustrated that Boniface had to beg for money for her medicine, but he promised to find a job and give her a better life. One night, Boniface came home in fear. Men had chased him, a bounty on his head. Anita revealed that Ivy's father had put a 200 million shilling bounties on him. The next day, Boniface came home to find Ivy missing. He found her trying to escape in a tuk-tuk. Ivy said she was leaving to keep him safe, but Boniface insisted she wasn't alone. He wouldn't let her live on the streets. She stayed. Anita was frustrated. Boniface was giving Ivy all his attention, while her school fees went unpaid. Boniface said, "She's pregnant and hormonal. Things will get better after the baby is born." One day, while hawking on the street, Boniface was recognized. A chase started, and he was hit by a car. At the same time, Ivy went into labor. Anita rushed her to the hospital, where she gave birth to a baby girl. Boniface woke up injured in the hospital and got a text from Anita. Ivy had given birth. He insisted on seeing them but was told to rest. Ignoring doctors, he limped to Ivy's room. Then the doctor delivered heartbreaking news. The baby didn't survive. The child had died due to brain asphyxia, a lack of oxygen during birth. Ivy was devastated. She called her father, blaming him for everything: the stress, the pressure, the pain that took her baby. She threatened to expose his corruption, tax evasion, and forged financial records. Now that Audrey had left him, she vowed to release everything. Hours later, Ivy and Bonafice mourned their daughter when Chief Udemba arrived, looking weary and remorseful. "I'm sorry," he said. "I never meant for this to happen." Ivy stared coldly. "Boniface ran for his life because of the bounty you placed. That caused the accident, and the stress you put on me took our baby." Before Udemba could respond, the doctor entered. "Your baby, she's alive, stable in ICU." Tears of relief and joy flowed. Udemba whispered, "My first grandchild is alive." Ivy cut him off. "That child is not your grandchild. You lost that right when you tried to destroy our lives. I disown you. I'm staying with Boniface." Udemba left, broken but reflective, finally ready to heal the family. Days later, Ivy's long-lost brother Gideon returned, urging forgiveness and healing. That evening, the family gathered. Udemba knelt, admitting his mistakes and promising to support Ivy and Boniface. He blessed their marriage, wishing them a future filled with peace, love, and happiness. And for the first time in a long while, the family began to heal,